You're
All
good.
right. All right. So welcome everybody to tonight's Team Arise call. So before we get started, we have an awesome guest tonight. I'm very excited to have Taren with us. Just a couple quick announcements. So first of all, Team Cup, I believe tomorrow is the last day to sign up for Team Cup. So definitely make sure that you're on a Team Cup team. If you are not on the Team Cup, if you've not already registered, make sure you go into the team page and just like, I've been seeing people post if you need a partner, ask for a partner. There's a couple cool things happening with Team Cup. If you're on a Team Cup team, if you're registered for Summit, and also I believe tomorrow is also the last day for the reduced price tickets for Summit. Then with those two things, if you're registered, you get access and invite to one of Carl's groups, which I got, which I'm pretty excited about. So can you hear Ronnie in the background yelling? Okay. Babe, everyone can hear you yelling. My kids aren't sleeping. Okay, what else? Team Cup. Okay, we are going to be launching a second round of 80-day obsession that we're going to start prep the last week in February and roll it out officially the first week in March. So definitely start sharing that. Let's get the energy going again, get the excitement. Everybody comment on each other's posts. We had like a huge amount of momentum going into it for our launch. So I'm excited for our second round. I think that's it. I am going to now introduce to you my good friend Taren, and Taren is actually my success partner, one of my success partners, but she and I actually we've known each other for a little over a year now, and we connected through a group. I actually found her and stalked her page, and I was like, this girl looks really calm and like really centered. I'm like, I really like her vibe. And so I just messaged her and said, do you have a partner? I want a partner and I'm looking for one. And then we became absolute best friends ever since. So she's amazing. She is a 1-star diamond coach. She is a Success Club All-Star legend. She is also a Reiki healer. She is on a mission to help other moms find their light. She is, I said already, a mom. She's a mom of 3. She is from Massachusetts. Her coach is actually Keith Callahan. And that's it. I'm very excited to have her. She's going to be sharing with us tonight about being a lighthouse. So take it away.
Love you. I always feel like super awkward when everyone like says the things that like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, 1-star in Success Club All-Star legend. I'm always like, blah, blah, blah. That's literally what I texted to Leia today when she was like, what do you want me to like introduce you as? I'm like, what, like accolades? I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm just a normal person trying to live an extraordinary life through this opportunity. Is basically like the meat and potatoes of it. So I wanted to share with you guys this talk that I sort of created it was actually for a public speaking engagement that I did 2 months ago. It was like at this wellness expo, and it was not Beachbody related. So I was trying to think of how I could, bring value to people through what I've learned really through my journey with Beachbody. So I created this talk called Being the Lighthouse, and I want to give you guys a little backstory first. And when I was giving this speech, I literally the whole time was like, I can't wait to share this with coaches, because everything that I was telling these people to use in their everyday life, I really realized like this is super impactful for coaches when they're going through the hard parts of their business or the hard parts of their own journey. And Being the Lighthouse came from, like I said, I'll give you a little backstory. So my grandfather, who is somebody that I was super, super close with, he loved lighthouses. Like I'm talking like back from when I was like a little kid, he in their house that they lived in for years. Good night, honey. I love you. He actually had this room in his house that was like all lighthouses. So like it was like his thing. And he had like a fish tank and lighthouses. It was like his Zen room, which is so funny now. He has since passed. He passed from ALS a few years ago. But when I think about my grandfather, like before I had even really understood what like connecting to yourself was and what real leadership was, that was like my grandfather. And I think that's why I felt so drawn to him, because he was like that person that anytime I hugged him, he would be like, whisper something in my ear, like, you light up the room when you walk in it, or like just little things. Like he was just that type of person that when you left him, you felt better. Like you really did. And he was somebody that he was an alcoholic. He was, not the best parent. My mom comes from 9. He had 9 children with my Nana. And he lived a life of a lot of struggle. But I swear, I say it all the time, he tried to make it up with his grandchildren, and he did tenfold. And he was like what I would look at as a leader. And I try to base a lot of my leadership off of who he was as a person in his day-to-day life. So needless to say, he was all about the lighthouses. So then about 2 years ago, after he had passed, I heard this podcast. I don't even remember what it was, but I heard this podcast, and it talked about a lighthouse in a tugboat. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story of the lighthouse in the tugboat, but when I heard it, it was one of those like moments that I was like, oh my God, like this is what I need to think of. Like, this is what I need to be. This is what I need to have in my life. I need to be the lighthouse. So the lighthouse and the tugboat, this is a little story that I want to start with, is both of these things, right? They serve the same purpose. Their purpose is to keep ships, like in a bay or in the ocean, safe. They want to keep them safe. They want to give them that opportunity to make it their safe travel, like make their pathway of travel safe. But they do it in completely different ways. So when you think about a lighthouse, you see it. It's standing there. It's strong. It's rooted into the ground, and it's just shining its light. And just by standing there shining its light, it is serving this purpose for all of these boats that they're safe, just by being a lighthouse, just by standing there and shining its light. And then you have a tugboat that is out there, legit busting its butt, hauling, running, here, there, everywhere, pushing, pulling, dragging. And when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, like I have been a tugboat for like ever. I was a tugboat in my personal life. I was a tugboat as a leader. I was a tugboat as a coach. I always felt like I was dragging people. And when I heard that, I was like, that's it. Like, and that's when I started to really make a transition in who I was as a person and who I was as a coach and who I was as a leader. Because I realized that the best way for me to serve others is to stand in my own light. Because that's going to attract the people to me who want to do the same thing. And that's what we want to do as coaches, right? We don't want to be convincing people. We don't want to be dragging people. That's not what we want to do. We want those people who are going to come in and they're hungry for what we have done for our life so that they can do the same. So that we're inspiring them to take action by standing in our own light. So I wanted to share with you guys 3 things that I really feel exactly it is such an energy sucker. It's like such a depleting thing when you're feeling like you're constantly dragging somebody. So I want to share with you 3 ways that you can stop being a tugboat and start being a lighthouse and really standing in your own light. So I don't know if you guys want to like write these little things down, because these are like simple little, it's like 3 little bullets, but they're 3 things that you could share with anybody in your life. You could share this with your challengers when they're struggling. You can share it with your coaches when they're having a hard time. You can share it with your spouse, your kids. Like these are all things that they're life lessons, but I really want to tie it into what we do as coaches in our business. So the first thing is stop defending yourself. So this was something I actually learned from A Course in Miracles. And when I read it, it was another one of those moments that I was like, OMG, like how much time have I wasted defending myself? And how often when you're defending yourself, do you feel good after? You don't ever. Like if you're hammering down, like I have a point to make, I got to prove my point, I got to prove this person wrong, I got to tell them how I feel. You never feel good at the end of that conversation. You feel exhausted. You feel defeated. And when you're defending yourself, you're actually just opening yourself up to be attacked. So I don't know about you guys, but a couple of years ago, like when I was new getting into this business, I had a lot of people that I knew on Facebook who just were like the Beachbody haters, right? I have like none of them anymore now because they're totally like changed the whole vibe. But people that I grew up with, and there was this one girl in specific, like she made a post and she's like, I'm so sick of seeing all this 21-day fix crap on my feed. Stop trying to sell me into your pyramid scheme. Like she just made a post about it. And even hearing that now when I hear someone say it, it's like makes my blood boil. I'm like, oh, like how dare you? Like you don't even know. But I don't say a word anymore. But I was like new and not exactly like aware that me feeding that beast was only just depleting my own energy, that I commented, of course. I was like, but like, you don't, if you've never done it, you might not really understand. Like, you shouldn't call it crap because it really can change people's lives. And oh my God, you guys, it was like a feud, like so many people. It was like one of those posts that like explodes and then everybody's watching it like a flipping train wreck. And I was just in the middle of it. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why did I even open my mouth? Why did I even try to convince these negative people of this gift that we have and have embraced? And it was a huge lesson. So the second I read that, like, when you defend yourself, you're opening yourself up to be attacked. When I read that sentence, I literally thought of that post. Like, that is the first thing that I thought of. And I'm like, why did I even do it? Because it literally solved nothing. Those people, those specific people from 2 or 3 years ago, still feel the same way about this. And they will never see this the way that I see it. They won't, which is fine. That's not my people. But defending myself is only opening me. It's opening the door to be like, come at me, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep telling you my point. Like, just once you stop and close that door and realize that we are not in this business to convince people to join us. We're in this business to stand in who we are and who we're becoming and how we're evolving and how we're changing. We're here to show them what's possible for them. We're not here to convince them that a shake is worth $100 a month. We're not here to convince them that this is not a pyramid scheme. We're not here to convince them that, yes, the results I'm posting are actually not photoshopped. They're actually real. We don't want those people that we have to convince. We want to help the people and mentor the people and guide the people who just see us for what we are, and that's authentic and real and excited about an opportunity that's changing our lives and excited about the fact that it can change theirs too. So that's step number 1. And guys, this filters in way past Beachbody. Like, it's helped me so much. Like, actually, I was fighting with my husband tonight about dumb things, and I realized, I'm like, shut up, Taren. Like, you're just like stupid. Like, just stop trying to prove your point. Like, there will always be the times that we want to hear, like, have our voice heard. But the bottom line is, like, why? Like, that's all ego driven. Like, that's all like, we have to be right and they need to hear me. It's like, no, they don't. Like, no matter what, it's up to somebody else whether they want to listen to what somebody has to say. And if somebody's not trying to hear you, then stop. Like, just stop. Like, don't waste that energy on somebody who doesn't want to even attempt to see what you're trying to say. So, no more defending. And it's way hard, I'm not going to lie. But, like, you'll catch yourself now. You'll be like, oh my God, like, stop. Okay. Point number 2 is choose your hard. So I first heard Autumn actually say this. I think it was like in a hammer and chisel workout, and she said it, and I was like, oh, yep, there you go. And that's become such a motto of my life. And it's something that I really try to remind myself of every day, because guys, this business is so simple, but this business is not easy, because it's based on us really having to show up for ourselves every single day. And it's hard to be consistent, and it's hard to always see the positive, and it's hard to ask people to do this and then get, 5 people in a row that are like, no. That can be hard, but it's also really hard to stay unhappy. It's really hard to be unhealthy. It's really hard to feel unfulfilled. It's really hard to be depressed. So at the end of the day, we have to choose our hard. And when we're choosing the thing that's hard, that is going to bring more positivity into our lives, that's when your light gets brighter and brighter and brighter. Because you're going to show all of these people that, guess what? I'm showing up and I don't feel like it and it's hard, but I'm going to do it anyways. People want that, because somebody's sitting at home right now thinking like, oh, But if she's showing up even when it's hard, then I guess I can do it too. Because I don't know about you guys, but that's how it was for me. It's like I needed somebody else. I needed to see somebody else could do it for me to believe that I could actually do it myself. I needed to see somebody else's light, and that was like the beacon for me. And now I hope that mine can be that beacon for somebody else. So it's choosing what's hard. You know, at the end of the day, you're tired. Yeah, we're all tired. But if you didn't do what you said you were going to do, and you need to send those messages, and you have that checklist that you need to check off, and you need to do those things for your business, do them. Because for whatever reason you're doing this business, maybe you want to create a life of freedom. Maybe you need the income. Maybe you just need something that's a positive driving force in your life. Not doing those things is keeping you away from that thing that we really want. I'm guilty of it too. We all have those days where we're like, I just don't feel like it. But do what's hard if it's going to bring you to that place that your vision is set towards. All right? So that's the second one, is choose your hard. Okay, the third one is, this one might be my favorite, is embrace your imperfections. So, and actually like use them to your advantage because they're yours. And your imperfections and your quirks and the things that make you you, guys, they're there on purpose. Like we weren't all created the same way on purpose. We're all supposed to be different. We're all supposed to have those things about us that are imperfect. But I have really found that really like celebrating those imperfections has helped me become such a more confident version of myself. And when you think about a lighthouse, when you look at it from far away, it looks like this big, magnificent, it looks like this perfect thing standing there just shining, this beacon of hope. And I don't know about you guys, but when I look at them, it's like you feel like this sense of power and peace at the same time. But when you get up close, it's not perfect. It's weathered. It's chipped away. Who knows what the stairs are like inside, if they're broken or rotted out. Like, it's not perfect. The glass could be broken, but it still stands there and it still shines as bright as it can. No, like even with all those imperfections, and you can still see its beauty. That's who we all are as coaches. Like, that's who we all are. We are not perfect. We're not here to show somebody that's perfect, because honestly, if we do that, we're doing them a disservice, because then they're going to think that they need to be perfect. And the most beautiful thing about this business is that that's like the complete opposite point. Like, we're supposed to show up as our best selves, as our most imperfect selves, and just really celebrate that and embrace it. Like Leah, I loved Leia's post today when she talked about her abs, because I feel the same way. Like I have with my first daughter, I got stretch marks on my stomach. And she's now 12, she's almost 13. And it wasn't until I did my very first before and after picture. It was a 3-day refresh before and after picture when I had first started coaching. It was the first time I had showed my stomach in public since before she was born. And I was terrified to do it because I had these marks on my stomach that I was like ashamed of in some way. And then once I started on this journey, I was like, why would I ever be ashamed of something? Like, I got those marks on my stomach because I was able to carry a baby. Like, why would I ever, attach shame to that? That was like really awful and mean of me to do to myself. We all do that. Maybe there's parts of your body that you're like, oh, I'm not loving that. Well, guess what? Like, find a way to love it, because your body is like that on purpose. Like, you were like, for such a long time, I used to get so mad because I'm short. I'm short, and I always had like muscular legs and a short torso. And I was like, never going to look like those girls in a bikini. Like, oh my God, when I think about that, when I was like 17 and I was in great shape and I hated myself, I'm like, that's so sad. Like, I was put in this body for this journey for a reason. Like, own it and love yourself for it and embrace every imperfection and celebrate them, because you're going to help other people find such confidence in themselves by doing that. And you're going to show people, like, this business is all about somebody else looking at you and saying, if you can do it, I can do it. Why not them? Like, that is the greatest gift that we can give to people. So yes, embrace the imperfections. Let me just see if I have anything else. I think that was everything. Sorry, I talk kind of fast and kind of blow through stuff sometimes, but I think that was everything. So it's the 3 things again are don't defend yourself, choose your hard, and embrace your imperfections. And those are the best way that you can really just shine your light, because guys, like even on the days where you feel so dim, I promise you, you are being a light for somebody. And I don't know how many times I've gotten messages from people that have never liked anything, never commented anything, and they'll just send me a message and just say, you know, thank you, because you have no idea how much you've helped me. Or I'll be at I was just picking up my kid at school the other day, and this girl came up to me. She's like, "You're so sunshiny." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." Because honestly, that's the best compliment like you can get. And if you are standing true and being authentic to yourself and standing in your light, people are going to leave you after being with you, and they're going to feel better. They're going to feel happier. They're going to feel like they can go conquer their day just by talking to you for a few minutes. And that's our job as coaches, is to be the lighthouse for people, but more so to help them see that they can do that too. So I think that's it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Taren.
You're so welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Taren or anything they want to share? Feel free.
Kind of funny, the last thing she just said about how like random people come to you. I literally had someone yesterday message me who I haven't talked to since college. I didn't even know she was on Facebook. And she's like, "Dawn, all right, you pushed me to the edge. I'm ready. Sign me up now. Like, let's do this." And I'm like, well, where'd she come from? So they do watch, even though they're not present.
That's awesome. That's like the best when that happens. Congrats.
Thanks. I was pumped.
Hey, Taren, thanks. This was awesome stuff. So what kind of difference can you say for your business that you started changing from this like concept of not pulling, but just being that light? So what does that look like, and how did that change your business?
Okay, so I've been a coach now for next month will be 4 years, and I can't believe it, because when I first started, I thought for sure, like I thought within the first year, I was like 5-star elite. I had no clue what that even, like what, I don't even know what it meant, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to retire my husband in like a year. Like I like had no clue of what really this really was all about. And I know I needed to do the work on myself to get to the point that I'm at right now. And I also know, like, for a while, I was like dragging people who didn't see this the way that I saw it, and didn't want it the way that I wanted it, which is fine, because I really do believe, guys, there are going to be people who come into this and they're going to want all different things from this business. There's going to be some people who just want this for the community. There's going to be some people who want this to like rock it out and really change their life. There's going to be some people who just need the wellness part of it. And I was still so set in this place, like I need to help them, and I need to help them in the way that I'm thinking I need to help them, instead of meeting them where they were. So I feel like that's the biggest shift that I've made. And last year was a hard year. Like it was a struggle in a lot of ways, but I also feel like it was the biggest year for me to really grow and see how I'm supposed to help people. And that's really by taking that step back and meeting them where they are. And that's, I feel like, where it's shifted my business. So I'm really investing time and energy in the people who show up for it, instead of constantly feeling like I have to go to those people because maybe they might have said they want something, but their actions aren't meeting it. Do you know what I mean? Because I know we've all had those people that are like, I want to do this, and then they don't do what they say they want to do. And then you feel like you just need to keep messaging them, oh, hey, wait, you said you wanted to do it. I don't do that anymore, because I know, like, if they really want it, then they're gonna show up and they're gonna ask me for that help if they're needing it or if they're struggling. So I feel like, you know, standing in your light is also helps you kind of meet people where they're at and let them step into their light and let them really do it on their time. I struggled for a while because it's like I had these personal goals for myself, right? Like I wanted to be a star diamond. Like I wanted to do these things, but I'm like, if I'm just focused on my own rank or my own goals, like I'm missing the point of it's not going to happen for me if I'm too focused there. So I sort of had to let those things go, and rank, I still have rank goals and it's still very important. But when I sort of step back and really focus on what those individual people want, I feel like it's just going to happen naturally because it's their desire and their drive and it's their self-motivation, and I'm just kind of here to help them. Does that make sense? So that's really what the shift has been for me. Like it took me a long time to figure that out. It did. It took me a long time to figure out. It took me and I struggled with the comparison game because I would see these people who came in at the same time as me and their businesses were like exploding, and I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? And it was really like I needed to take myself out of the equation when it came to really mentoring coaches and just really let them kind of navigate it. And I was just going to be there for them when they needed it and give them the information and the support that they need. But it's like they have to, every single coach that we bring in, some might take off and some might take a while, but it has to do with their personal journey and their own motivation and self-drive with this business. Thanks, lady.
Sweet. Anyone else with any questions or comments?
You guys are great. Thankful for
great. This is like, I love precise, like to the point, like concrete stuff that we can take away. And we definitely got that tonight. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
All right, ladies. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Night.